Welcome to this session. In this series, we are learning embedded systems. In this video, we are going to learn all about memory in embedded systems. Every computing system depends on memory for storing and retrieving data. In the embedded world, working with memory is a frequent requirement. That is why having a deep understanding of computing memory is essential. It makes our life easier and more efficient. Computing memory has evolved over a long period of time. Computing memory differs based on speed, temporary versus permanent storage, capacity, cost, volatile versus non-volatile. While memory can be classified based on factors such as speed, temporary versus permanent storage, capacity, cost, volatile versus non-volatile, it is broadly classified into primary memory and secondary memory. This slide is just an illustration of showing a big picture view in the beginning on different kind of memory that exist in embedded world. Don't get confused with a whole lot of jargons here. We will dissect and have a simple explanation of each of memory in this video. Each has a specific role in speed, capacity, performance and cost. Before I delve deep into each of the memories, let us understand a few basic concepts of memory. First, volatile. Volatile memory is a type of computer memory that requires continuous power to retain stored data. Once the power is turned off, all the data in volatile memory is lost. It is faster, data available temporarily, that is data lost once power is off, and this is cost higher. Example, random access memory is the most common volatile memory. It's mainly used for temporary storage while the system is running, such as holding program instructions, variables, and data being actively processed. Exact opposite is non-volatile memory. It retains data even when powered off. This memory is slower compared with volatile memory. This is used for permanent storage, lower cost compared with volatile memory. Example, hard disk drive is a non-volatile memory. This memory is used normally for data backup. The next concept we are looking is a register. You had learned program counter, instruction counter and similar in computer architecture. They are also form of memory. There are many registers of similar nature offering memory capability in computing systems. So register memory is the fastest and the smallest type of memory. It is located directly inside the CPU and it is temporarily holds the data, instructions and address that the processor is currently working on. Registers are like a CPU immediate workspace. They store the information the processor needs right now, allowing it to perform operations instantly without waiting for data from slower memories like a cache or RAM. Next concept, cache. Cache memory is a very high speed memory located close to CPU. Its main purpose is to store frequently used data and instructions so the CPU can access them quickly. Think of it as like a short-term memory for the processor. Instead of going all the way to RAM every time, the CPU first checks the cache. If the record data is already there, known as a cache hit, it can process it instantly. If not, it's cache miss and the data has to be fetched from main memory, which takes more time. Because cache operates at a much higher speed than main memory, it helps to boost the overall performance. There are typically multiple levels of cache, L1, L2 and L3, each differing in size, speed and locations. Now, let us look at the first classification of the memory, primary memory. This is also called main memory and system memory. Primary memory is further classified into random access memory and read-only memory. RAM is also referred as a read-write memory, while the concept in ROM is read-only. RAM is further classified into SRAM, static RAM and dynamic RAM. We will see details of it shortly. While ROM is classified into programmable erasable memory and flash memory. Programmable erasable memory is where, though it is read-only by concept, there are specific methods you can erase them and rewrite new content in the memory. This is helpful when there are situations where you want to alter the content in ROM. On the other hand, fused memory do not support erasable and reprogrammable feature. Programmable erasable memory can further be classified into EPROM and flash. EPROM is generally faster and the operation is performed byte by byte. Flash is slower and the operation is carried out in blocks. Now let us look at the second classification of the memory, the secondary memory. It is all about permanent and high capacity storage. This memory is slower than primary memory, used for long storage rather than active processing. Now, let us look at each of the memory available to the embedded system. The first one we are seeing is SRAM. SRAM stands for Static Random Access Memory. SRAM stores the data using flip-flops, also as a bistable latching circuits. This means that as long as the power is supplied, the data remains stable. There is no need for refreshing, unlike DRAM. Now, when we compare SRAM with DRAM, here is what stands out. SRAM is faster, giving quick access to data. It has a lower density, meaning it can store less data in a same chip area. It consumes more power because flip-flops are always active. This is more expensive to produce. It is commonly used in cache memory and CPU registers where speed is of most critical. In short, SRAM is fast, reliable, but it comes at a higher cost and power consumption. The next memory, NVRAM. NVRAM stands for Non-Volatile Random Access Memory. Unlike regular RAM, which loses all its data when power turned off, NVRAM retains information even without power. That's why it is called non-volatile memory. You can think of NVRAM as a combining the speed of RAM with the storage capability of non-volatile memory. NVRAM is used in places like where data needs to be retained across reboots or power cycles and needs faster access, like storing BIOS image, system configuration, important parameters, saving calibration data, and saving lost known state. NVRAM bridges the gap between RAM and permanent storage. It is fast like a RAM and reliable like a hard drive. Now, moving to the DRAM memory. DRAM stands for Dynamic Random Access Memory. Unlike SRAM, DRAM stores data using capacitors. But these capacitors gradually lose their charges, so DRAM needs to be refreshed periodically to maintain the stored data. Now, when we compare DRAM with SRAM, here are the key differences. DRAM is slower than SRAM. It has higher density, meaning it can store more bits per chip. It consumes less power compared with SRAM. It is much cheaper to produce, and DRAM is commonly used in main memory. In short, DRAM is slower but cost effective, making it ideal for main memory. Now, we are in SDRAM. SDRAM stands for Synchronous Dynamic Random Access Memory. So, what exactly is the SDRAM? It's an advanced type of DRAM that operates in synchronous with the system clock. In simple words, in sync with the CPU's timing signals. So, both the processor and memory work together smoothly. In older asynchronous DRAM, the memory was not synchronized with the CPU clock, which often caused delays. The CPU had to wait for the memory to respond. But in SDRAM, everything happens in coordination with the clock cycle. This synchronization allows faster and more efficient data transfer, improves overall system performance. It is widely used in main memory. Over time, SDRAM technology evolved, starting from SDR single data rate SDRAM, which transfers data once per clock cycle, to DDR double data rate SDRAM, which transfers data twice per clock cycle, leading to DDR2, DDR3, DDR4, and even DDR5 in recent development. So, in short, SDRAM is high speed, synchronized memory that bridges the gap between the CPU and main memory, making computing faster, smoother, and more efficient. Now, let us understand EPROM and EEPROM. Unlike regular ROM, which is programmed only once, EPROM and EEPROM can be erased and reprogrammed multiple times. It is a non-volatile memory, is erasable, reprogrammable memory that stores data permanently until erased. EEPROM stands for Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. In this memory, to erase the data, the chip must be exposed to ultraviolet light. Once erased, new data can be written again using special programming device. As this needs a special device, this memory needs to be removed from PCB to program. This memory played a major role in electronics before being replaced by EEPROM and a flash memory, which allows electrical erasing. That brings us to EEPROM, Electrically Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. Unlike EEPROM, which erases using through UV light, EEPROM can be erased electrically, also programming done electrically. As this operation can be done within PCB, it is not required to remove memory from circuitry. Now, flash memory. Unlike PROM, where data is written byte by byte, flash memory allows operation to be done block by block, making it much faster. Another great thing, it is electrically erasable, so you can update it without removing the chip. Compared to PROM, flash is faster, cheaper, but it does have a lower number of erase write cycles. And when we talk about flash types, we usually come across NAND, NOR, and eMMC, each used for different storage applications in embedded systems. Now, let us look at the last category of primary memory, which is a fused memory. Fused memory is a type of non-volatile memory where data is stored blowing or fusing tiny links inside the chip. Once the fuse is blown, it represents a permanent bit of the information, typically 0 or 1. The PROM, this memory is a one-time programmable read-only memory. This memory can be programmed after manufacturing by user using a PROM programming tool. On the other hand, a masked PROM is programmed during manufacturing. That means data is fixed by the manufacturer. Once it is shipped out of the factory, content cannot be changed. Now, let us look at the second classification of the memory, secondary memory. In secondary memory, let us focus on hard disk drive, solid and solid state drive, as these are the popular now. By storage technology, hard disk drive is based on magnet disk that spins, data read-write by moving heads. On the other hand, solid state drive is based on flash memory with no moving parts. By speed, hard disk drive is slower, mainly because it is limited by the mechanical movement in the design. On the other hand, solid state drive is faster, near instantaneous access. Durability is less in hard disk drive, again due to moving parts. SSD is more durable as there is no moving parts in it. HDD makes noise due to spinning platters and moving heads. On the other hand, SSD performs the operation silently. Power consumption is higher in HDD due to spinning motors. Power consumption is lower in SSD and energy efficient. The lifespan of HDD is 3 to 5 years, again affected by the mechanical design. In case of SSD, lifespan is 5 to 10 years. HDD is cheaper and good for large storage, and SSD is expensive compared to HDD. Alright, that brings us to the end of this session. Today, we explored the different types of memory used in embedded systems and how they are categorized. I hope this gives you a solid understanding of the memory systems in embedded world. Remember, when selecting memory for a project, factors like capacity, performance, power consumption, reliability, security, and cost effectiveness all play a crucial role. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, check out the other videos in this embedded system series. And don't forget to leave your feedback and drop a comment if there are any specific topic you want me to cover next in embedded systems. Thank you.